Hello, I'm Fiona Murchie, Managing Editor of Relocate Global and Relocate Magazine. I'm delighted to welcome you to the second in our series of education and family-focused webinars, with this webinar on international schools, hybrid learning and reopening schools safely, a case study from TASIS England. Our presenters today will be Bryan Nixon, Head of School, and Nellie Bailey, Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management. They have a huge amount of knowledge to share, whether you're a parent, an HR global mobility or corporate decision maker, or a relocation professional supporting those embarking on a relocation move or international assignment. The topics we'll be covering today include what makes an international school special, plans for a safe return to school and what to look for, introducing hybrid learning and why it's important, plus supporting new families and the race for school places, as well as the challenges faced by families in the wake of the pandemic. And now we go over to TASIS England. As we look ahead to a physical return to the classroom, schools are focused on providing a safe environment in which the well-being of students and staff is paramount. Parents are looking for reassurance, and this is particularly true for those who are moving to a new school or sending their children abroad for an international boarding school experience. At the same time, schools must be prepared to ensure the continuity of education for any students who are unable to attend in person, whatever the reason. TASIS England, the American International School, is based in a leafy village of Thorpe, Surrey. I've visited many times, and they have a beautiful 46-acre campus located just 35 minutes from London, so you really do get the best of both worlds. Two key members of the team are joining us today to share the benefits of an international school and give you some insights into their values and how the school operates. Bryan Nixon, Head of School, will explain the back to TASIS plans for a safe reopening at the end of August. Nellie Bailey from the admissions team is going to tell us how they support new families and help them settle into life at TASIS. We'll also discuss the benefits of an American system, the advanced placement curriculum, and the international baccalaureate, and also touch on the advantages that boarding school offers students. So there really is something for everyone, and lots to build on for those new to finding an international school and in an unfamiliar location. Don't worry, wherever you are in the process of finding a school or settling a family, we have lots of practical advice for you. At the end of the webinar, we'll also have a short Q&A based on questions our readers have asked us about international schools. And now I'll hand you over to Head of School, Bryan Nixon, to help you understand what to look out for in an international school, particularly now as children return for the new academic year. So hi, Bryan.
Hi, Fiona. Thank you, and thank you for that warm introduction. And what a delight it is to partner with you on this webinar. So my name is Bryan Nixon. I am fortunate enough to be the Head of School here at TASIS England. And as you can see from the picture on the screen, I came here with my 3 children and multiple dogs. So as a head of school and as a father of a student, I understand what it is like to relocate between countries. I've done so from Ireland to the Bahamas, from the Bahamas to Germany, from Germany to the United States of America, and then from the United States of America back here to the United Kingdom to be the head of school at TASIS England. 2 of my 3 children have since graduated from the school, and my third one, Neve, the one in the middle, will be coming back here with me on the 26th of August when we welcome all our students back to school. So a little bit about TASIS England. Now, TASIS England is a day and a boarding school. We are a day school for children aged 3 to 18, and we are a boarding school for children aged 13 to 18. We have students from well over 50 countries with 30 languages spoken on campus. So we truly are a diverse and international school. With 650 students, 180 of those are boarding students who live with us here on campus in 7 boarding houses to keep that familial and community feel in 46 acres of beautiful campus. And we're just 35 minutes from London and literally 10 minutes from Heathrow Airport. The school does offer the International Baccalaureate program in grades 11 and 12 for the diploma, and we offer the Advanced Placement program from grades 9 through 12, which is a college board program from the United States of America that assists with college entrance, both to the US, the UK, and to worldwide colleges. So that's our school in a snapshot, with our campus and with the number of kids and the nationalities that we have here each and every day. So our children, when they graduate from us, they go to multiple different places because each school's role is to prepare their students for the next stage in their life. And as you can see from the graphic that's on your screen, our class of 2020, who graduated in unprecedented times, have still gained acceptance to a wide range of colleges and universities throughout the world. The list included 255 institutions located in 18 different countries. And you can see here that 42% of our graduating class of seniors, which is over 100 students, will be headed back to the United Kingdom. 39% are on their way to the United States and colleges over there. And 19% of them are going to colleges throughout the rest of the world, whether that is within Europe or Australia or other places. Over 85% of our graduates secured their first choice university or college. And there are 61 scholarship offers from top tier establishments in the US and through UK and the EU. So here at TASIS England, we don't just believe that learning is about academics. While academics are incredibly important, and yes, we want your children to excel and to be ready for the next stage of their journey, we also want to nurture their intellectual curiosity. We want them to take ownership of the learning process. And you can see here from our mission that we want to nurture intellectual curiosity, embolden each learner to flourish as a principled, open-minded, and compassionate member of a global community. In other words, we want them to become lifelong learners. We want them to lead and to serve others. And we want them to be great neighbors, leaders, friends, and community members that will play their part in each of the communities or corporations that they interact with. We do this through 3 important ways, which you can see in the center of the circle, through pathways, engagement, and connection. Pathways means the multiple opportunities you have to study here at TASIS England. And there truly is no limit to learning. From early on, you have choices in your academic pathway that can help you maximize those areas that you have strengths in, but also challenge you in areas where you have difficulty so you can learn to grow and develop. Engagement means that we expect and we need you to become the owner of this process, to engage with us, to engage with your teachers, to engage with your peers and your students, but also to engage with the learning and to see your growth through the assessments that you follow through with the learning that happens in the classroom. And in terms of our other commitment, which is connections, that means that we are looking forward to you becoming part of this community. And in that, we've set each learner. So it's not just our students, but it's also our families, our faculty, and our staff, all play their part in forming the connections that we build here at TASIS England to make sure our community provides everything we can for each and every individual that's part of our community. If we are successful in those 3 things, we will hit what we call our product or our outcomes. And those are the 3 attributes you see on the outside of the circle. Lifelong learning. So knowing that even though you may have had a great IB diploma score and you're going to your university of choice, or knowing that you've done very well in your AP scores and still going to your university of choice, that you're prepared for learning beyond school, probably beyond university, and even well into your workplace. The second thing, again, is international mindedness. So this is not just that we are an international school with over 50 nationalities. It also is that we want to explore difference. We want to understand difference. And we want to ensure that we are diverse, inclusive, and provide equity for everyone that we meet and interact with. And the final outcome that we gain here from being at TASIS England is service leadership. We do believe that the students we work with will be leaders in their families, their communities, and their corporations in the future. But we want them to become leaders of service. In other words, that they're looking to lead in a way that promotes good and right and justice for all those that they lead and serve. So as you can see, yes, we're focused on academics, but it's also more about who they're becoming as learners, as people, and how they will integrate into their life and their communities and their studies in the future. So with all that as the backdrop, we, as with every other school, are getting ready for a safe return. These are very uncertain times, so we try to set our preparations in the things that we know we're certain of. And you can see the 4 guiding frames that help us set up all our preparations for a safe return to school. The first is that we're committed to ensuring a continuity of teaching and learning. Fortunately, we'll be returning to school in person on the 26th of August, but who knows? Given that we may face localized or even partial shutdowns within either the area or within the school, we have to be prepared to be able to transition from what we do in classrooms to online at any given moment to ensure that our students continue their learning journey and explore all the pathways we just spoke about. The second thing that we're certain of is that the well-being, care, and safety of our students and staff is paramount, so that in every decision we make and every additional mitigation that we bring in, we're doing that to ensure safety. We're doing that to ensure that we care for them, but we also are looking at bringing in wellness programs to ensure that they're being able to cope with not just the demands of all the mitigations, or even if you're in isolation at home. But what does that look like in terms of mental health and well-being? What does that look like in terms of physical exercise? So we're trying to make sure that we provide for the well-being, care, and safety of all in our community. The third thing we're certain of is connection. We have been communicating all throughout the summer, step by step, helping people understand the decisions we're making, helping them understand the things that we're thinking about, ready for a decision, so that when everybody arrives here on the 26th of August, or if they're online on the 26th of August because they could not get here due to flight restrictions or quarantine, that they know exactly how to start the school year and all the things that they can expect to see online or on campus. We have continued that communication right from the end of January all the way through the summer till now. And in fact, we're now into weekly communications, complete with videos and with pictures to show people what they will be experiencing when they arrive. And the final thing that we're certain of is that everybody needs to play their part in providing a safe and welcoming learning environment. So we as a school can provide lots of different things like temperature checks, more hand washing stations, sanitizers, special filters that kill bacteria and virus within classrooms, ensuring ventilation, making sure that we have changed our schedule to reduce transition, making sure that we have grouped children into different groupings so that we keep them with the same consistent people as much as possible, ensuring that we've changed the physical layout of our classrooms to promote social distancing, bringing in additional eating facilities in the forms of marquees so that we can provide grade level dining in a safe, distanced way, or even making sure that we have everything that our teachers need to promote learning within the classroom or online. We can do all those mitigations, but we still rely on each and every single member of our community playing their part, making sure they're listening to government advice, making sure they're adhering to quarantine regulations if they've traveled, making sure that if anybody is displaying symptoms of the virus, that they're in touch with the National Health Service and engaging in the track and trace scheme so they can be helpful to us and to their families as we move through. And that brings us back to where I started with the mission statement. Our mission is for each and every person in this community. And as we prepare for a safe return to school, we are asking every single member of our community to play their part in making this a safe and welcoming learning environment. So I've also just mentioned that we have to be ready for online or on-campus learning. As I said before, we're fortunate that we will be coming on campus on the 26th of August. In fact, some of our boarding students will be arriving on the 12th, this Wednesday, so that they can make sure that they have done the quarantine in time for the 26th of August. So the hybrid learning program for us is the way in which we'll be able to transition between on-campus and online learning at any given point in time without any disruption to the continuity of teaching and learning for either for our staff or for our students and their families. The hybrid learning program is a flexible program. It means that while we're in school, we're using and utilizing resources from information technology to enhance the quality of our teaching and learning, so that if that cannot be provided or if a student cannot be here, they can log on, follow along with the classroom, both in terms of the presentations from the teacher, but also in small group or paired activities with people here in school at the same time if they're in the same time zone. Obviously, if students are not in the same time zone, they can complete these tasks asynchronously and send those back to the teacher and to their peers for feedback as well. So hybrid learning means that we're prepared for teaching in the classroom, but at any given moment, we can utilize the skills that we're using to connect people on class and online to an online only learning environment if there is another temporary close down that we saw in many countries throughout the world. This also makes sure that students are aware of where things are, how to locate their lessons, where to upload their work to. They're sure of where to contact teachers and that their teachers are available to them, and that they can get specific and necessary feedback on any assessments or any learning that they partake of on a daily basis. So we're excited about our hybrid learning program. We have spent the summer helping our teachers and providing professional development for them in multiple different ways, both through looking at what does it look like on campus, what technology tools can we utilize there, and how can we transition those at any given moment in time to online learning. We're excited about the program. We're excited about what it will provide for our teachers and for our students. But most of all, we're excited that it will mean that no matter what situation we face, our students will continue their learning journey and be prepared for what comes next. So as you can see, here are some of the benefits that I just spoke about. It's about the continuity of teaching and learning. It's about making sure that we alleviate any concerns so that if we go into any lockdowns, we can keep it going and can continue to learn. And it will, as we said earlier, ensure that each student gets a very personalized and individualized program. They can follow their own pathway. They can engage in their learning, still connect with their teachers and their peers, and we can make sure we can live our mission each and every day through our hybrid learning program. So at this point, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Nellie Bailey, who is a Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management here at TASIS England. And she's going to look forward to talk to you a little about how we support our new families, of which we have just met many online over the past week, as they transition to our school community. Nellie, over to you.
Thank you, Bryan. My name is Nellie Bailey, as Bryan said, and I am a longtime member of the TASIS community. I'm in my 19th year here at TASIS, and I am the mom of 3 middle school daughters who have actually grown up here in this community. So I can speak to you today not only as an admissions representative, but also as a parent here in our community. Fiona, thank you, by the way, for having us today. We really appreciate all of this work you've done with us. One of the things that I'm going to talk about is how at TASIS we support our new families. We're really, really lucky because we do have a wonderful community of parents here at school. We have 2 different parent organizations. One we call the TASIS Parent Association, the TPA, and the other group is quite unique to our school, Parents Information and Resource Committee. We refer to them as PIRC. TPA and PIRC have quite different roles. Our parent association is very much about working with the school, encouraging engagement, having each of our parents play their part in this community. PIRC does a lot of different kinds of work. They help with the transitions. They help with maybe being that shoulder to lean on. How are you doing today? How are things going? We've been working very closely with TPA and PERC and their leadership teams, in fact, their whole teams in the last few weeks, to help engage our new families who are moving during this very unusual summer that we're having right now. And what we've done is we've increased our engagement with families. As you know, as many of your viewers will know, we were nominated for and shortlisted as one of the schools providing outstanding relocation support to families. So we know we already have a wonderful tried and tested program, but we've amped it up this year. We've done more. We need to do more. And it has had we've had a wonderful response from all of our new families. Some of the things that we have put into place throughout the summer, we just this week, as Bryan mentioned, we've done a series, we called them Coffee and Cocktails. So wherever in the world you are, please join us. And we've had a series of basically meetings with our new families. Let's just talk. These are the times that we often have them on campus, or we like to do a pub lunches and things here at TASIS. And the Coffee and Cocktails was replacing that. It was giving us moments to just interact with our families around the world. We are planning in the next few weeks to have individual, what we call sectional meetings. So all of our lower school parents will be invited to different sessions online just to be able to interact with each other and start to meet people. With social distancing in place and limits on how many people can get together, this is the best way for us to be able to do this. We do still have parents all over the world. And one of the challenges that we're seeing is that there are people who want to be with us here on campus and they can't. But this is our way to engage, reach out as much as we can. Another element that we have taken into place this year is we have quite a few of our students, Bryan's daughter's one, my daughter's one, who have put themselves out there and they've said, I'm here for you to the new students. I'll be a contact for you. We've got quite a few of our students who are communicating very regularly with some of our new families coming in. We already had a buddy family program. It's a wonderful program. We do one-to-one matches with all of our new day families moving to the area. We do have active Facebook pages, closed pages just for our parents in the community to ask those questions. We have a number of families right now who have made it into the country and now they're in quarantine and they know, where do I go for groceries? What they're getting instead is, let me get your groceries for you. Let me help you. And that's what our parents are doing right now. We are extremely lucky to have the amount of support that we have within this community. The next thing I'm just going to talk about, and I just mentioned this, are some of the challenges that we do face at this time. We have families all over the world. We have families trying to get here. As many people know, many visa application centers have been closed. They can't get flights from their countries. We are ready with our students in our online learning program. That is absolutely ready to go. Where we need to make sure we're doing everything we can is to engage our students, to engage our parents, whether they're day parents, whether they're boarding parents. We want them here and we want them involved. One of the things that we have been doing with all of our students is making sure that they know they have support from their teachers, from obviously other parents and students in the community, and counseling support as needed as well. That level of engagement, many parents are telling us that has actually helped their child get over maybe those start of school jitters. We've been communicating all summer long. So one of, I think, one of our strengths has been the level of communication that we have had with our families. And Bryan mentioned this previously, emails have gone throughout the summer, letting parents know this is what we're looking at now. This is the latest government guidance. It's been extremely clear. And the feedback that we hear from our parents is that although this is a challenging time, they feel much, much more knowledgeable because we are providing them with the information that they need. As we get closer to the start of school, more is coming out with more detail for families to know and understand what's coming. I just this morning actually saw a new map of the campus. So students know when they come onto campus where to go to get their temperature checked. Parents are getting all of these details that will be sent out to them. Students will be provided with maps of the campus. As Fiona mentioned, it's a beautiful, big, huge campus that we have, but our students will be kept safe and secure in the various parts of the school where they are located. As mentioned previously, we do have a wonderful page on our website, Back to TASIS, that also details all of the mitigations we are putting into place for all of our students, all of our teachers, and every member of our community who is coming and joining us in the next few weeks. As we mentioned, we do have students who won't be able to be here. That's absolutely fine. Can it be a challenge for them? It could be, but we're here. And that's what we keep telling them. Contact us, talk to us, let your teachers know if you're having trouble getting into that class. Let your teachers know if your email's not working. Let us know. We want to be here to support you. That's, I think, what families are telling us is that they feel like they are blessed. They are lucky to have joined a community of such a supportive group of people that we have here at the school.
Great. Well, thank you very much. That was really fascinating. And thank you both for offering to cover a little more ground with some questions that our readers have sent in. So, Bryan, I think over to you for the first one. How do universities view the AP and IB in the UK and the US? And of course, people watching will remember you had a fantastic infographic of the university placements. So, Bryan.
Yeah, so I think the first and foremost, you can see that both have value, and both the IB diploma and the AP programs have value across universities worldwide. And I can speak to that in personal terms because my children have taken AP and IB. So with my 3 kids, they will take different routes, which, by the way, is one of the great things about TASIS England. You don't have to do one program. So if you're a particular type of learner, you can either choose the advanced placement program or the IB diploma program. And my children, all 3 of them, have taken a different route, each of them. And each of them have had all their university offers, whether they were doing the IB diploma program or whether they were doing the advanced placement program. So they're both well-recognized courses. Obviously, in the US, the advanced placement program is from the College Board, so it's well and easily recognized within US universities. But here in the UK, offers are now being made on advanced placement scores in much the same way they would with the A-level, which is the national curriculum equivalent here in the UK. With regards to other schools worldwide, they also now are familiar with the AP examinations. The difference between AB and IB is IB is a 2-year program with 6 subjects, whereas the AP program is a 1-year program, and you can do as many of those 1-year programs over the course of a 3 or 4-year cycle as you would choose. So the UK universities now know both. The IB diploma at this point in time is held in very high regard throughout the world, both in terms of US colleges and here in the UK. And in fact, in US colleges, many colleges are offering credit towards the courses that you've done in the IB diploma because they realize the rigor of the program. So they're both well recognized. You can see from our students and the graphic that we showed earlier. And you can also see from the success of their offers, they had 85% of them got their first place offers, whether they were doing AP or IB. So really it comes down to who are you as a learner, which program is going to support you, and universities are very familiar with them all. And just so you're aware, my son, who just graduated, did the AP program, the advanced placement program. He got 3 5s, which is the best scores you can get, and he has his college of choice and he wants to be here in the UK. So he's looking forward to a smooth transition to his new school.
Brilliant. Can't have a better recommendation than that. So, Nellie, this is the next one for you. So I think we'll roll these 2 into one because they're related. So what's been the impact on the health and well-being of the children, and how are you addressing this? And then also about the staff. How about the staff and how are you supporting them too?
Sure. Thanks. I can speak again as a mom as well, here with teenage daughters. This has been a hard time. It has. Many of our children, within the around the world, have found that it's hard, that isolation, even with 3 of them, they still want to see other people and they want to see other friends. But that's okay. We have to have hard times in life. And what we've talked to our parents about is how can we all communicate with them? Let's talk to them. Let's support our children, but also then communicate that with us. And so if you found, and any of our families who in the spring were home with their children, if they found that they were having a hard time, reach out, talk to our counselors. So one of the things that we were doing quite regularly is the counselors, and depending on the ages of the children, I know mine in middle school, they had a weekly wellness check-in. The counselors were contacting them every week. And if there was anything that seemed a little off, then they might step up a little bit, or they might reach out to the parent or the child and say, how are things going? How are you doing? As a parent, we were invited to sessions with the counselor, and the counselors gave us strategies of how can you help your child right now during a lockdown? What are some things that you can do? So things, it was teenage yoga, help them with their cleaning their room, maybe, or getting all the right school supplies and making sure they have everything that they need to be successful. So even as parents, we were given pointers on how to help the well-being of our children. But one of the biggest things they said is talk, communicate. What we have put out and said time and time again to our parents, let us know. And I said this previously, keep talking to us, because it's important that we can then support each and every child here at the school. We're quite lucky. We already have a thriving wellness program. We do a lot of work around student well-being. We were in fact nominated for an award this year with the independent schools for student well-being. And it is something that is recognized, the care and time that we want to put into taking care of each of the students that we have here. I think for the second half of your question, I'm going to ask Bryan to talk about that a little bit, because he can probably speak more to faculty and staff well-being.
Yeah, so it's something similar to what we did with our students. We had 5 different programs running for our faculty and staff, whether that was mindfulness, yoga, or we even had a fitness instructor who looked at posture and movement. So they could log on anytime, 2 times or 3 times a week with him, so they could get the exercise they needed in their homes at times that worked for them whenever they weren't online with students. We also had group meet sessions. We had staff meetings, and some of those were just more checking in to see how everybody was. And we had our end of school faculty meetings, faculty and staff meeting, and there were well over 200 people on the call. So that just shows you we kept everybody connected, we kept them engaged, and we kept them together. So we offered lots of programs. We checked in to make sure they were okay. And I personally rang every single faculty and staff member 2 or 3 times during the period, just to give them a voice, because as much as we have enjoyed Zoom or webinars or seeing people face to face, nothing beats that personal phone call sometimes, just to say hello. And that seemed to make a difference to people. So it's really, we care for them as much as we care for our students. And if they're in a good place, and if their mental health and their physical health is in a good place, that means they're there to serve our students as best they can. So we provided extensive programs for our faculty and staff too.
Great, thank you. And the next question is also for you, probably, Bryan. Great time of teacher shortages globally, as there has been. What do you do to ensure you attract the best teachers and to your school?
So I think we've been very fortunate. For the last few years, we have only had an 8 or 7% turnover for the last 2 years, which in international schools is incredibly low. And I think it comes down to a very simple concept, and that's treat people well. And if I could say, Nellie's going to smile when I say that I always talk about a certain letter. But for me, it's about the 4 C's. And the 4 C's that we look after is that we care, we commend. So one of the things that we do here is we acknowledge people who are doing things that inspire us. And by the way, that is a tab in one of our parent interfaces with the school. They can click on commendations. They write to our HR department, they say who they're commending, and then we all make a big thing of it, and it goes to the person. So we care, we commend, so that people know that they're doing a good job and that they've inspired us. We challenge. In other words, we think you're great, but I wonder if we provide you with more challenge or more professional development in these areas, how much can you continue your development and your improvement? And the 4th one I would say is compassion. And that's the support programs, just like what we talked about in terms of the 5 different programs for wellness to support our people. So when you look at our 4 C's, care, commend, challenge, and show compassion, I think those are the keys to keeping people here. Obviously, your salaries and benefits have to be, competitive. But I think that given that we're a boarding school, and given the unique challenges that brings to teachers, where they're not just teaching during the day, but they're providing some support for a boarding program at night, to have only a 7 or 8% turnover, it shows that I think our 4 C's are in process. And the key to that is we hold each other accountable for those 4 C's. So it's not just my responsibility or Nellie's responsibility with the admissions team. It's every single member of our community, of our professional community, has to play their part and make sure they're doing those 4 C's for each other, because this is our organization to develop and to grow, not Bryan's or Nellie's or any other person's.
I'm just going to jump on the end of that, though, because one thing I want to say is also we have a lot of people who have their children here at the school, and this is a home, and our children feel it, that we have chosen to put our children here at the school. And my children, as I said, they've been here since they were tiny. One of them this week was actually here visiting with one of our visiting families and ran into her kindergarten teacher. She is now taller than her kindergarten teacher. Bryan, you probably know who I'm talking about. And the excitement from my child and the tears from the kindergarten teacher, this is home. This is what they know. And our students and teachers, this is where they want to be. And so I think I can say that as a faculty member who's also a parent in the community, they really appreciate having that kind of support. We're a big family. And I know if, and Bryan knows if I was worried about one of his kids, I would come and have a word. And, same, I'm sure he would come to me, and we all look out for each other.
And I think we're very communicative. I mean, everybody reaches out. So, it doesn't matter whether it's a parent and sometimes they don't want you to solve things. They just want you to listen.
Yeah.
And everybody in the community provides that. So we're in a good place, but those things take work and commitment. Mm-hmm. They don't just happen and then you forget about them.
Yes, great. Well, that leads me nicely into the next question then, which is about parents and potentially dual career couples, because you really must have some very knowledgeable parents in your community that you've talked about who've got pretty high-flying careers. And so I was just wondering how much they get involved in careers fairs, for example, activities with the children that perhaps help prepare the students for life in the world of work. And, it's all about preparing for what is the future world of work going to be like. So perhaps you could comment on that, Nellie.
Sure. Thank you. As I said before, we're phenomenally lucky to have a very engaged parent community. And we work quite closely with our parents in many ways. And one of the things that we did just even this spring, just before we actually went into lockdown, a few weeks before, is we had a big career event, a big, basically a festival of all the different careers that students could attend. There were so many sessions going on, and we had professionals, not just even from our parent community, but from other organizations who spoke to us later and just were blown away by our students. Some of them, talking to us about, can we make some connections with you so that we could look at some internships? We'd like to really use you guys as a school to help, feed into our potential workflow down the line. But with our parent population being, quite active, not just in school on a day-to-day basis, which they're here all the time. And it's quite unusual, I think, if Bryan or I would see a parent go by that we didn't know who they are. We know all of them. Bryan's out every morning welcoming parents as they come onto campus, and students, in the mornings, probably not high fives anymore, but elbows and so forth. But with our parents, we want them here. We want them engaged. We do ask our parents to play their part, though, and we've referred to that quite a few times. Please communicate with us. Please, talk to us, help us, help your child, and help the school and the teachers. We do offer, for working families, there are options for after-school clubs and activities. It's a huge program. Both Bryan and I have children very, very involved in the after-school sports and activities program. And then we obviously with our boarding community. So we have some parents who live locally, but their children board with us and maybe they go home on the weekends. That's absolutely fine. Our boarding program is usually full. If we do have spaces, then we're always willing to offer some flexible options to families if we can. But because it is such a thriving program, we often don't have the space for that. So thankfully we're lucky in that way. But we would try to accommodate if we ever did have a student, that did need a last minute residence for a few weeks. Bryan, do you want to add on to anything?
Yeah, I just want to say that part of when parents come in to talk to our students through a speaker series or a career fair is that I'm not really all that interested sometimes in their successes. They're obviously in the roles they're in. I actually want to know about their pathways, the journeys they took, the mistakes they made, and what they learned from them. And I think that's really important to share with our kids because TV doesn't show them that stuff. The news that they read is not that optimistic at the minute. So what we like them to focus on is, what journey have you taken? What did you think you were originally going to do? What does your learning pathway look like? And what mistakes did you make along the way that helped form the person you are today? So I think that's really key for our kids to know and understand. And our parents are really gracious about sharing not just their successes, but also those moments where they probably made a few mistakes that they learned from, that made them the people and the leaders they are today. So that to me, it's about being real, about being honest, and giving kids the understanding that you can control your journey. This is yours to take on.
Great, and I'm sure people have more questions. So yes, would you like to explain how people get in touch with you?
Of course. You'll see on your screen our main contact email. Most of those end up coming right through either to me or one of my colleagues here in our admissions team, and we will absolutely come back and help answer any questions, provide more information about our school. Also on our website, you can go on a virtual tour of the school. So if you can't be here in person, we very much invite you to go on a virtual tour, hunt around a little bit. You'll find Bryan and I showing up in numerous places probably on that tour. But it is a wonderful and fully cohesive tour of our campus, in and out of classrooms and buildings and so forth. So we do hope to hear from you. And if we can help in any way, we're always here.
Right. Well, thank you very much. It's been really enlightening case study about TASIS England and answering all those questions too. So there's plenty for parents to take away, employers and the relocation professionals supporting their moves. I'm sure a lot of people will feel much more reassured now about their children returning back to school and more confident about what's going to happen, whether it's your school or around the world. And the information about hybrid learning was really helpful. So people are going to be less anxious. I'm confident about that. And it also takes away some of the worries about finding an international place, even if time is getting short. And we know people's plans have been disrupted. So I think the message is just get in touch and find out, and you'll be helped through the system. And absolutely, I can guarantee you're going to find a warm welcome at TASIS England. So it's time for us to say goodbye to TASIS. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Fiona.
Bye-bye. Well, that was fascinating, and thank you again to TASIS for participating. Our next webinar in our webinar series is Future Fit Talent Mobility New Horizons, and that is going to be held on the 8th of September. So please do join us then. If you want more information and to play back this webinar to colleagues and friends and people interested in finding more about international schools, you will find the replay back in 24 to 48 hours, and you'll be able to listen back on the web link and on YouTube. And also, if you want to request the presentation slides and if you want to get in touch with Nellie and the team. As a subscriber to Relocate, which is our digital magazine, there's plenty more information on schools and education across our media. And in addition, we invite you to join our Think Global People community if you want to keep in touch with trends regarding global mobility and managing international people. And of course, there's also the Family Focus Community Network. So there's the email if you'd like to join us in that. And then there are plenty of resources across our website and media, including webinars, virtual events. There's the Relocate Awards, which Nellie mentioned, and videos. And of course, we're now offering the community networks as well as coaching support, executive coaching, and for those on relocation. And finally, you can sign up for all our materials, including the digital Relocate magazine, our monthly newsletters and special editorial features, and there's daily news and features on the website. And for those of you in the specialist area, there's the Global Mobility Toolkit, which has plenty of information about policy, supporting families and managing talent. So that's all for today, and thank you so much for joining us, and please keep an eye on the website for the next webinar. Goodbye.